So we're back in Naramata, and this is a how to carve perched eagles. I love carving eagles. I have definitely gotten a little bit better over the years, thanks to Pete Ryan, Carver Kings. And in this episode, we are going to carve an eagle. I'm going to just carve it, give you tips as I go like I've been doing, and hopefully you guys will be able to pick up on some of the things that I've been able to learn and hopefully able to pass along to you guys. So just a quick thing. This was 2 logs, right? This log is really short. I thought I had more logs. All truth be told, I thought there was 3 of these logs. I didn't have it. So what I'm going to do is I took the top off this, cut it really flush, and then I put it on the bottom. I'm gonna glue and screw it. And then once it's dry, we're gonna start blocking out the birds. Just a perched eagle looking to the side. I like to do, when I'm carving eagles, I like to twist their heads as much as I can because a lot of the detail goes into the back. The front is just kind of, just as, you know, fluff and puff of a chest. But in the back is where you can have a lot of fun layering in feathers. So I'm gonna try to turn this so you get a good view of the back, the tail feathers. Not like bent back because they don't go that far back, but I'm gonna try to give it a nice twist and just trying to hammer this thing out. So, you know, one thing about this thing, even though right now it's just sitting on top of it, I'm gonna glue it, screw it, and then when they have it's all dry, I'll buff it around and I'll carve it flush, carve it, and I'll put a base on it, and only you and myself are gonna know who this is, know how this eagle came about. And this eagle actually is for the Rock Creek Fair in British Columbia, which I was set to do in September, but since the COVID-19 has shut down all the events this summer, this is still a door prize that they were doing. So this one right here is going to be the eagle. And then in the following video, or in a video coming up, this is going to be a bear in a log, which is a very popular carving. I've got a standing bear video coming out. So we'll have 3 bear videos and a how to carve eagle video, and also the owl video that I did. So make sure you guys check these out, and let's get going on this project.
Well, to do this, I'm just gonna set this up, hammer a ton of glue, lots of glue, because this is gonna be gone. There we go.
So it's glued now, waited about an hour. It's really tacky. I see that there's a crack right here, and I'm going to use the head looking this way, and then I'm going to leave the crack across the top of the neck and the shoulders. And the reason I always try to do that is because I can just jam a wedge down it. The wings are going to cover it. It's not going to just like do it during the head. If you do it in the head here and you carve the head and there's a check already right here, you're basically going to, you know, screw yourself. You're going to be stuck with a possible crack that could go down the beak, split the head in half. But if it's at the top of the neck or the shoulders or down the wing pattern, you just jam some glue down there and it will sit pretty. And it's not going to ever crack in half. So that's what we're doing right now. So right away, I'm going to rip a slab right down here, down to where the glue line is. And then I'm going to just free flow this. I know this form. I'm going to cut it down all the way down here to where I think the tail feathers are going to somewhat end. Then I'll do a slab straight down, tuck it in, and then get down to where the feet are going to be. And then I'll go get my jack, I'll hoist it up, and that's kind of how I'm going to approach blocking this out, free form, and no drawing. Just going with what I know. Like I've said before, trust your gut. Let's do it. Woo! So the glue is dried and I removed the screws. I'm gonna cut it and see what it looks like, because these are two different logs, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna blend up nice. And you know, I got the shape of the head here. There's a couple knots that I'm a little bit worried about, but that's okay. It's the heat here in Naramata. It causes this wood to really crack. So I'm gonna get this thing done in the next few hours. I might try to implement Bob King's style of feathering. Now, if you go back and watch Talks with the Masters with Cook and Fultz, Bob King, at the end of our interview, we actually talked about feather pattern, and my feather pattern is 100% different than Bob's. Bob's likes to do choppy, like flowy, you know, inconsistent, so many different feathers. And to me, like, that's just like out of my world in my brain. And you know, without becoming repetitious, I think I'm going to try that, because you know, like when you're carving, you have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, because you could very easily become the same thing, and you keep doing the same thing, and it becomes repetitious, and you get better at it, but at the same time you become stagnant. You're not blossoming, you're not exploring. And I think that's something you should really watch out when you're carving, because once you do something once, you've got it, and once you do it 20 times, you've really got it. But once you've done it 20 times, then you're free to start exploring different options, especially if you understand the core of what the sculpture is. Like if it's a bare body and you know that you have the form, you just don't know how to, you know, maybe explore different feather patterns, or add in like proper muscle texture, or not add proper muscle texture, add different stuff, you know, humanoid it, make it different, you know, create different characteristics. And you know, that's something that you could really think about. And I think that would be like the perfect trick tip for the week, you know, like this little rant right here is just exploring new ways and really learning your form. Once you learn your form, then you're free to try new things and stay within that form, because it could be abstract, it could be so many different things. So let's get going, and we'll rock this out. It's time. Phew. I've got quite a good go on this so far. You know, we got good shape, and now it's time to do the feathers and try to do it in a different way. And mentally, I'm really struggling with that. So I think I'm just gonna dive in and try it, and try to do what I normally do, but go with the flow, because there is that inner demons, an inner battle, an inner kind of monologue where you know what's going to work. But if you stray from that, you know, it could be dangerous, because I only have this one log. But at the same time, what if it doesn't have the effect that you're hoping for? But I just kind of watched back some of Cook and Fultz with Bob King as he talked about it, and I get an idea what he was saying. And now I'm just gonna kind of dive in, chop it up, and give her and see how it goes. But mentally, it's driving me crazy. this is kind of how I ended up doing it. You know, I was reverted back to my style a bit, but I definitely punched in a lot deeper than I would always do it. And in the back, I just ripped and pulled down on the chainsaw. And I think once you burn it and then grind it and sand it, it's really gonna have a cool effect. So when you're carving eagles, you know, I always look at the feather patterns. There's, you know, primary, secondary, tertiary feathers. There's, you know, you got your head, the beak, the way the beak is. I think you gotta really look at the anatomy of eagles and the birds and the bones and study bones. You know, you can never study enough bones. And then once you know your structure, then you can start to carve it, and then you're free to do whatever. It's like in abstract, I've heard you can't be an abstract artist until you've mastered, you know, art. I mean, that's complete bullshit, but I don't know. I mean, there is some sense of truth to that, because, you know, it's good to know what you're doing, you know, understanding the meaning and definitions of art. And yeah, and I'm really happy with this bird. It's cool, it's a good eagle. You know, you can do these kind of eagles in so many different ways. You can make them choppy, blocky. You know, all it really is the eyes, the beak, and then you're capturing the essence of the bird. In any sculpture, you're trying to capture the essence of something. And, you know, copying it. You're just a master copier. So whatever your image is, have references and do it, you know. And when you've done hundreds of eagles, then you can start to just freestyle. Like for me in this video, in this sculpture, I just carved, you know. I just went with what I know. I've studied the bones, I've studied the beaks, I've studied eyes, I've come to terms with things that I'm comfortable with, and that's about it. So let's just burn it, sand it, paint it, and get it stained, and we'll finish that up. So he's all done. I am happy with kind of pushing into a lot deeper of texture than I normally do. And you know, the line that was glued together, you can't see it. That's why I did that ripping across diagonal kind of rock face base here. And you know, for $500, this is a great eagle. And you know, there's not too much checking. I'll watch it over the day today. There's a little bit here. I might have to do a little bit of glue work, but other than that, this is a great effective way to carve eagles. I hope you guys have learned something and you enjoy this video. Please give it a like, share it on your Facebook pages, social media, whatever you want. Send it to a friend. My name's Ryan Cook, and this is Ryan Cook Carves. See you later, boys and girls. You. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, bow, bow. Yeah. On to the next.